Coincidentally, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen you do a live television show before. Was this your first?
How would you know?
Well, I have never seen you do a live show.
Well, I really only like to do ones that are taped like several years in advance.
Well, we're flattered you did one for us here live.
This is my first time live TV.
Wow. Pretty pathetic when you think of it.
No, that's fine.
Well, you're so talented, we want to see you do it all the time.
Thank you.
Now, years ago, is it true that you opened for Joan Rivers in one of the clubs here when they were at the bitter end?
At the bitter end, I was singing with my sister Lucy. We were called the Simon Sisters. And we opened for all kinds of people, including Joan.
Sure.
We opened for Dick Cavett and the Terriers, Woody Allen, Bill Cosby.
Wow.
It was such a great time in the Village in the mid-60s, and we were both commuting back to school. And Lucy was in nursing school, so she had to like don her little white cap and be back on the floor, and I was there writing my term papers.
And did she continue in the nursing profession? Or?
For long enough. She took care of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then she got married, and she's a fantastic composer, and she wrote The Secret Garden.
Oh, my gosh,
Wow.
really? So you guys got a lot of musical talent spinning around there, huh?
Indeed we do.
Now, do you have tapes of the old days anywhere still?
Oh, I've got, I don't have any room in my house anymore because there's so many tapes. I found one the other day in an old guitar case that I hadn't seen. I hadn't heard the tape since I made it, and it was in the days when I was hanging out with Chris Christopherson, and it was probably around 1977 or 71. And I remember we went to the Village and picked up Bob Dylan. Chris would just go anywhere and pick up, and he'd say, hey, Bob, are you home? And then Bob would get in the cab, and then he would pick up somebody else. So we all ended up at my apartment. John Prine, Steve Goodman, Bob Dylan, Chris, and myself. And I have a whole tape of us passing the guitar around and just exchanging songs. And me trying to go into the kitchen all the time to make coffee because I so didn't want the guitar to be passed around to me because I really didn't know any
That's pretty
songs.
heavy talent there.
And Chris says all over the tape, Carly, you have the best kitchen.
Well, that's one thing.
Okay.
So you don't live in New York anymore, do you, Carly? Year-round, I mean.
I live in Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard.
Have
right.
for quite a while.
But you come back. I see you here a lot occasionally. People still recognize you, of course?
I see you a lot occasionally. Yeah. Well, sometimes I'm recognized, and other times. This, by the way, is. I don't usually wear hats, but this is my son's hat for his band. He has the Ben Taylor Band, and these are the hats that he made that are 100% environmental friendly. They're made of hemp. So go see Ben Taylor. Go see the Ben Taylor Band. But anyway, so what?
No.
Being a good mother, very good mother. I like that.
I understand you got in the cab the other day, and the cab driver, as you did yesterday, had a little repartee with you.
Oh, gosh. No, well, this actually happened about a year ago. So I was in a cab coming from Fifth Avenue in the 90s, and I was going to head across to my home, which was then on Central Park West and 73rd. And I got in the cab, and Anticipation, my song Anticipation, came on the radio. And so I'm still thrilled to hear when my records come on the radio. It's like a big deal. And so I said to the cab driver, who was just looking very straight ahead and very stern, and he looked like he probably didn't speak any English. And I said, that's me. That's me singing. And he didn't do anything. He didn't look back or anything. And I said, that's me, a little bit louder. And then to prove it to him, I began singing along with myself. So I said, Anticipation, anticipation. And by then we were headed across town on the transverse at 79th Street, and we got over to the other side of the park, by which time I was in full voice. And it's making me late. And
making this guy nervous, too.
And he pulled over in front of the museum, which isn't as far down as I lived, and he just opened the back door by himself. He just reached behind. He said, out. Out. Get out.
Hey, Piglet's big movie soundtrack in the stores right now, and the movie opens tomorrow.
And it's very important to
Stewart the stories right now. We'll be right back with Claudia from Hollywood.
Good friends from the Piglets Now movie. Here's Carly Simon.
With a few good friends and a stick or two, a house is built at a corner called Pooh. With a friend and a stick or 3 or 4, a house is built where it wasn't before. With a window here and there, a door and a nail in a peg for the code of Eeyore. With a few good friends and a stick or 2, a house is built at a corner called Blue. With a friend and a stick or 3 or 4, a house is built where it wasn't before. Dress it down or dress it up. Invite Tigger for tea.